Train the muscles, not the joints. So welcome back to Natural Gallant Bodybuilding. And just now, I thought this up. I'm gonna do my favorite exercises series. So, favorite exercises for each body part. So today I'm gonna start with biceps. You see me do different types of curls on this channel. Sometimes I'm keeping my elbows back. I'm just standing up, keeping the elbows back while I'm curling. Sometimes I'm bringing the elbows all the way forward and getting a little bit of extra contraction at the top, right? Because you pull in different parts of the bicep because there's two heads, right? There's different heads, so you bring in different heads when you bring the arm forward or you keep it back. Because the biceps do actually help elevate the arms like this. I believe it's anterior movement of the shoulder. But the bottom line is that because the biceps do help with this movement, and they assist the front delts with doing this movement, but because they do that, you get an extra contraction sometimes when you bring the elbows forward. So I'm not saying that that's the best way to do a bicep curl. Assuming that my labral tear, all the shoulders and everything were perfect, keep the elbows back and everything, but you do get a little bit of a contraction by coming forward, so you start to work a different head of the bicep from doing that. Sometimes you'll see me do hammer curls, sometimes you'll see me do barbell curls, sometimes you'll see me do an incline curl, all these different variations. But the thing that built my biceps the most out of all the exercises in the beginning stages of my training was the incline bicep curl. Now remember when I talked to you about that first exercise I started with in front of the TV? I started with just normal bicep curls, but then when I went to the garage and I sat on this incline bench that my dad had made out of metal, and it was like a really thin sort of thing with foam just glued on top of it. Anyway, I used to go in there and do my 3 sets of 10 with the dumbbell curls on the incline, and I felt the bicep really well, like the belly, right? Where a lot of times when you're doing bicep curls, because I've had a lot of people ask me, okay, how do you train biceps? How do you get bigger biceps and stuff? And if you ask the person where they feel the exercise, a lot of times they'll say, oh, I feel here, 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 like they feel it all over the place. But you really want to get an exercise where you feel the actual belly of the muscle. So if you're not feeling the belly, that means you need to change the exercise that you're doing. And it might not be incline curl for you. Perhaps it's a different type of curl. But for me, incline curl was my favorite exercise for biceps. And that's how I grew my biceps mostly. It wasn't like, I did a lot of barbell later on, but in the beginning stages, it was more incline curl, and that's where I always seemed to go back to. It seemed as if that was the exercise where I could keep the most amount of tension on the muscle belly without transferring it to the shoulder joint or the forearm. So I usually stuck with that. Now, the odd time I would do preacher curls, I would do one arm preacher curls, I would do cable preacher curls, I do all these different variations. I'd even do cables like from the ceiling and lay on the ground and then curl to my forehead and stuff, and these concentration type curls and stuff. But I found the concentration type curls didn't really work that much for me. I found I got a pump and stuff, but it didn't feel like it was really tearing that fiber down, which is really what you want when you want to grow a bigger muscle, right? It's basically the body is forced to adapt and rebuild after that muscle is shown that it is too weak by it tearing down. So that's why I found the incline was great. Now later on in my career, after I dislocated my shoulder in hockey and all this kind of stuff, I'm noticing that the incline is still a great exercise for me. But what I'm also noticing is the standing dumbbell curl, where I come a little bit forward with the dumbbells instead of keeping it right back. When I come a little bit forward, I'm getting that extra squeeze, and I'm noticing I'm getting a wicked pump from that. Those are ugly reps, but I'm doing them on purpose because I want to challenge different muscle fibers at this point, right? So I'm just trying to challenge a different part the range of motion and different fibers. That's the whole reason why I'm doing that. So it's not about being super strict. Sometimes you can go too strict at times, right? So sometimes I'll do it alternating, and I find alternating will hit a different head of the bicep. It does actually start to transfer because your body English changes a little bit, right? So you start to actually hit a different head of the bicep. But at the same time, I found that extra squeeze seems to be really paying big dividends. I'm getting a lot of extra pump from that. So again, you have to go on feel. These are my favorite exercises based on what I'm experiencing. So your experience has to be the first thing. When you're experiencing a better pump in that area, or experiencing more of a pull in the muscle belly, that means that exercise is most likely the best one for you, especially if you're not getting joint pain and stuff along with that, right? So it's the best of both worlds. So I hope this helps you find an exercise that's best for you, but these are my favorite exercises for the biceps. Okay, standing bicep curl and incline bicep curl. Those are my two favorite exercises for building biceps. So there you go. Now you have it. Now you got the big secret. Okay, it's that simple. Now what do we do? I guess I gotta finish painting this room now. Crap. All right, well, thanks for watching. If you need to get a hold of me, just go to naturallandbodybuilding.com. And if you want to support this channel, go to patreon.com. The link is down below. And take care for now. Bam!